Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
You know, I've got to get him to change that to where it says your host, Bob Zagami and John DePietro.
No, I paid him off.
Yeah, that you get the top billing every week.
Well, and you know what? It's justifiable because I have the brighter shirt, the brighter mind, and I think better.
Oh, okay.
So one thing we need to keep in mind is what I've totally forgotten about, but it's something about the jingle. The jingle was so, oh, yeah. With some of the biggest names in the RV industry. That must mean me and you in that order.
Well, probably, but more likely me and you in that order. Hello,
Yeah,
Dante.
as long as me is me and you is you.
We got Dante and we got Jerry on early. Glad to have you with us, guys. So tonight we have Randy Murray from Pete's RV, and we're going to bring Randy up in a couple of minutes. Hello, Gail.
But first, this is Today on NBC.
Yeah, we got a couple of interesting news stories for you. One from our friends at Girl Camper. Their spring issue has been nominated for 2 awards, the Eddie and the Aussie, and these are like the Academy Awards of the publishing world. And Diane McNamara, our friend, is now I think she's the managing editor, and Kim Foley McKinnon is now the editor of the magazine, and she is on board with that, along with being the Mass State director. And that was interesting news, and they've just done a great job with that magazine, pulling that thing together.
Yep, exactly. Hey, Jerry Plant is here.
Yep.
Jerry, I don't know if you're working this week, but my RV is down there, and just keep an eye out for it. And if you don't keep an eye out for it and they burn it, make sure they total it. So, from that end, hey, Bob and John, did you get my email with my info for the raffle prize?
I did, and I passed it on to Eva, and you should have probably had it by now. I will check back with it. It usually takes about a week to get it across the border. I did send it, so Lisa, I will check on that. Hello, Mark Polk.
Well, you know what? It's good that we have Mark on tonight and we have Jerry on tonight because they can supplement what Randy has to say. Because you know what? Even though it was 80 degrees today, we still have to plan ahead for the long, crazy winter that we have in New England because the name of the show is RVing in New England. But
we get an all-star cast behind us tonight. We got Mark, we got Jerry.
Yep.
Mike Perry just joined us.
Yep.
He hasn't been there for a while.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Good.
We started to refer to winterizing as
getting your RV storage ready.
That's possibly true. Let me finish one bit of news. If anybody felt an earthquake around 3:30 this afternoon, it was not an earthquake. It was this headline that we all woke up to at 3:30, and although it doesn't impact consumers, it reverberated all throughout the RV industry. But Forest River and Thor collectively have canceled open house plans for the week of the 27th. That's when all the dealers go out to Elkhart and Goshen and buy all their products for the spring,
which pretty much kills the show.
Right, with those two out, then the show is dead, and everybody else will stay home, and there will not be, for the second year in a row, any dealer open house.
Yeah. Well, the reason that's a big issue is because there's nowhere for the dealers to go to get free food and alcohol.
Well, that's true. They are wined and dined quite well.
First,
and then we
top
had a
shelf.
Great piece of news from Pete's RV, which is interesting. But Pete's is going to open up their 4th location in New England in Saco, Maine, right on Route 1. It'll be opened in 2023. They got 60 acres there, and they're going to build a big super center, and we'll talk to Randy Murray a little bit more about that as we get into the show.
And Audrey is with us. She went somewhere exciting this weekend. I can't remember where she went, Audrey. Audrey, tell us where you went this past weekend because I don't know. You posted some interesting stuff, but I just can't remember where.
No. Ryan Hadley's on.
Yeah, Ryan's on and Lisa's on. But
I
Bob,
said,
you know what? That news is interesting news because now the manufacturers aren't under the gun as much to produce because that, number one, they can't keep up with the demand. So having the open house was more, I think, along the lines this year of, hi, how are you? Nice to see you again. And, oh, by the way, don't expect anything in the next month. Because
I do know that was a concern with some of the dealers who said, basically said, why are they having an open house when they can't deliver the units that I need right now? They're going to stick them out in the yard there and let everybody else look at them. So, there's issues on both sides, and I don't think anybody's going to complain too much about that.
Oh, that's right. Audrey was up by the Mount Washington. I saw that Omni Mount Washington Hotel, and I suggested that
KOA thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I suggested
let's bring our guest. You want to introduce our guest?
I'd be more than happy to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's have a fine nerve to welcome for our guest who joins us at least twice a year. It seems like it was just 6 weeks ago and not 6 months ago. The man who won the ZZ Top Lookalike Contest, Mr. Randy Murray from Pete's RV. And Randy, in honor of Pete's RV, I wore the right color tonight.
Yes, you did, my friend. Yes, you did.
Okay. I didn't get the memo.
Right.
Your shirt's closer to my shirt, Randy. So why are you giving him credit?
Well, so I'm the only one at Pete's RV that wears a black shirt because I am on the management side, but I also still work on campers when necessary. So yellow does not do well with Randall.
Right.
But it works for everybody else because we like to be visible. So I'm the only guy you'll see with a black shirt.
It doesn't work well with grease either.
Exactly right. That's why I wear black.
With that being said, we always have Randy on at the start of the camping season and the end of the camping season because probably this year and last year more than ever, there are so many people that are first-time RV owners that are going into their first winter season and might not be aware of the chores that absolutely positively need to be adhered to and done with care in order to, when we have you back in March or April, Randy, be able to still have an RV to call their own.
Right.
And, from mice to waterproofing to blue tarps versus real tarps, we're going to get into all of that stuff tonight. So, folks, if you have a question, or because we have a veteran audience usually, if you have a suggestion, just type it in and we will bring it up and give you due credit for it. If it's a terrible suggestion, we will ridicule you publicly on the air.
Yeah, before we jump into that, I've got a question because I've noticed, and I think I've mentioned this before, I am getting more calls from first-timers who need service and repairs, and they find our consulting company and call us up and ask us if we do service, and that's the Google problem. But I used to get one a month in the last couple of years, and most recently I'm getting about 2 a day. That tells me there's a lot of people out there that don't know where to go, first timers. They weren't trained the right way. They didn't get a good PDI. I had another one this morning. Ryan, you probably got a call from the guy that I spoke to this morning. And are you, and this goes for all the tech guys in the audience, but are you getting more calls, more appointments, and more people coming into the store wondering what the hell they do now that they're not going to camp for the summer?
There is some of that for sure. There always is some of that. Our industry probably, and Bob, you and I have had many at length conversations about this. Our industry is probably the worst industry out there on educating the public what to do next. We try really hard at Pete's RV. I mean, you've seen our YouTube channel, and we spend a lot of time and resources. It was my job at one point to get out there and try to educate people the best we can. People hear what they want to hear, a lot of them. There is, again, the industry, and it's not just one particular part of the industry or one particular dealer sect or one place. It's everybody. It's not an easy thing to do. And we do something differently than everybody else. We have a house that rolls down the road at highway speeds, and people are used to vehicles that go down the road that are built completely different. So trying to retrain the consumer to take care of something that they kind of put in an automobile basket where it's more like a house. It's challenging for sure. And right now there's a lot of people out there looking for service. There's a lot of RVs that have been sold in the last year. Resources are lower than they ever have been. You guys would getting what we need to provide for the consumer is almost impossible right now. COVID is very much still in our industry. The car industry is starting to really feel it. And I think now that people are saying, okay, it's not, they weren't lying to me. Now the car guys, they can't get these chips. Now Chevy is affected as well as Ford. And there's tens of thousands of trucks sitting around that they can't finish or they have delivered minus parts. And that's the world we've been living in.
Yep. And Randy, you brought up something very important. You said basically we have a house that we take onto the road and run it down on highway speeds.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's important to point out crumbling highways and rotten infrastructure with bridge joints that should never have been, allowed to have that roadway open where, I know, and Bob can verify this, just driving up 495 in Massachusetts between the Mass Pike and the main line, New Hampshire line, that road is in terrible shape. So add the fact that we're taking our house and bring it out onto the street, and then we're beating the hell out of it while we're driving it. That leads to issues that need to be cared for at this time of the year.
The other thing too that people I don't want to say they don't understand, they just don't know, because again, they're attributing it, especially the new people in our industry, attributing it more like their vehicle because it has wheels and it goes down the road and it has a license plate, right? Motor vehicles, you don't want to see those in for warranty. The manufacturers does not expect Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Dodge, don't expect you to bring that back through its warranty period for warranty. They give you the warranty, but very rare. My truck, I think, went in once in 3 years and it really didn't need to. I expect, and the manufacturers that build the RVs expect for, like, say if you have a 1 year warranty, I expect to see that coach in twice during its warranty period to get things taken care of. We expect that. That is normal. When a coach goes out that's brand new, I've heard this more this year than any other year. And again, it's the new people in the industry. I bought a brand new coach so I wouldn't have these problems. Well, the way that an RV is put together and the way the industry has designed their warranty system is that these problems they will arise while you're using it. Hopefully they're minimal. Hopefully there's nothing damage resulting, but they expect them to arise. They expect you to call your dealer. They expect you to get in the dealer, get the adjustments made, get that thing taken care of, and maybe have to do that twice before we work the bugs out of this house that rolls down the road. That is protocol. That is normal. And that's one of the hardest things that I've been trying to train customers on this year alone is like, I expect to see you. And when I tell them that, it's like
what?
What? And then I start to explain and try to, when you built a new house, your house, what did you give the contractor a month in? You gave him a list of all the doors that creaked, all the cabinets that didn't close properly, and all the cracks in the drywall, right?
The punch list, yep.
That's the same list you just gave me. I don't camp them. I put water to them. I make sure they're safe. I make sure there's no gas leaks, and I make sure they're safe to go down the road, and I look for things that might cause damage. I want you to find the problems by using it, the ones that rear their heads by camping in it, and then that's my job to take care of those problems the best way I can.
Yeah, and Randy, I think it's also important to point out that, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, is that parts and replacement parts and parts that may have been missing or something. Number one, you can't blame the dealer because they don't manufacture them. You can't blame the manufacturer, the Thor or the Forest River or the Winnebago or the Nexus, but it's a supplier company that nobody even knows who they are that made that little part that needed to be installed to get you back going again on the road.
Exactly. And this year, it may not even be their fault. It may be the guy they're buying the raw materials from. Steel has been a huge problem. There's an integral chemical in the production of foam that has not been available. Recently, foam. Go on. If you want to know if you can get it or not, go on Amazon and see if you can buy it. And if there's no foam on Amazon, you ain't getting it.
What about antifreeze? Are you seeing any any problem getting enough antifreeze? What happens if we don't have enough antifreeze for the consumers this year?
The blowout method will come back. Right now there is in Pete's RV, and I hope the other dealers in New England, for pricing, usually we order early, especially in COVID times. So we were very proactive about that, and we are fully stocked. We know how much it takes to get us through the year. We're pretty good at guessing it, and we shouldn't have a problem. But I talked to our rep today, our in-house rep on the gallon jug stuff, and they said that we will probably expect a price increase throughout the winter, and there may be a shortage as things move forward. It's the glycol that they're one of the chemicals in glycol. They're still making it, but they're not able to make it in the volume that they once did. Yep. So they've been doing a heck of a job with it, and they knew this day was coming, so they've been stockpiling it. So they hope that that's going to get through. It probably won't mess up our world hugely because most of our winterization is done by November.
Okay, let me get a couple. We got some good customer feedback here. Let me go. I'll go in the bottom and back up. So I'll get to Audrey. Lisa says, I heard rubber is the most hard to get product in the coming year. Is this true?
That's not one that I know about, but it's been so hit or miss. It's steel. It's usually one little part to make the piece is the issue. I've seen rigs held up this year for hot plates, awnings, again, the foam cushions, just the craziest things. Steel is probably the biggest struggle, getting help to put these parts together. I had our hitch distributor, Casey, my partner on the parts side of things, her and I were trying to get hitches just to get these things out the door and down the road safely for the customers that have been waiting. And the hitch guys are saying, we've got the hitches, we've got the parts, we've got the bars. We don't have anybody to put them in the boxes to get them to you. But they were cool with me coming down and putting them in the boxes.
Hey, Randy.
I'll send you the parts.
Bob's going to bring up that, but I wanted to bring something up before we forget it, especially with the number of newbies that might be watching this show. Ladies and gentlemen, very, very, very important. RV alcohol and automotive alcohol, even though the antifreeze, RV antifreeze and automotive antifreeze, Randy, if they mix them up, they've got big, big, big trouble.
So I have seen this happen, unfortunately, and when I catch wind of it, I have to put a red flag on your camper. It is not safe for human use. I have to isolate your plumbing system and cap it off so no one. Automotive antifreeze will kill you. It will kill you dead. It shuts down your kidneys. It will kill you if it's in your plumbing system. Do not use that. Non-toxic. I recommend glycol antifreeze, but it's a food preservative rather than anything else. That's the best stuff for your plumbing system, and that's what Pete's RV uses. A little bit more expensive, but that's what we recommend.
Yeah, that's what Dante said. That's what airplanes use it to de-ice airplanes.
Like for de-icing.
The other one that's out there has a lot of alcohol in it. There's also a blend where alcohol actually will permeate your plumbing lines and can leave a foul odor and a taste. It also is not good for the packings in your receptacles, i.e. your faucets and things like that. The alcohol will dry it out. Plus, alcohol is flammable. Who wants flammable stuff in their plumbing system? So again, I'm an advocate of the glycol, but get it winterized. Use what you can. The glycol is the best stuff in my mind.
Audrey says, and I sent this out to the dealers about a month ago, but the DEF fluid sensor chips, everybody's complaining about it. On the consumer side, I hear a lot of people complaining about it. Now, a lot of it is preventative maintenance that the customer should do. When the DEF light goes on, you got about 60 miles or 600 miles, something, but they don't replace it. And if you don't replace it, then it's going to slow the engine down. It's going to stop you. So how much of that is customer error versus the chips? And last week there was an announcement that it looks like they're close for an agreement with the EPA to do a software fix for the time being. What's your take on all of that?
So we don't do a whole lot of diesel stuff. On the sales side, we carry a couple rigs which we haven't been affected by. Most of the trucks I run a gas truck because it's cheaper to buy because I put a ton of miles on and I throw them away at 100,000. I have not run into that other than the sales guy that borrows my dualies, and I don't know, that light didn't make any noises, the truck just stopped moving. So I left it there. I was like, when it says DEF, put DEF fluid in it.
Right.
Or else we have a tow truck coming to get it, right?
The light does come
I don't
on.
have a lot of practical experience with that, Bob.
All right, we got a member of your fan club on. Kevin Hawkey's on. He told me he was going to start coming back on because we were interfering with his golf league the last couple of months, so he was missing. So the question I got for you, Kevin, you posted the pictures of you and Roman golfing over the weekend. Did Roman beat you, and has he got to a point where he can beat you now? He's only 10 years old, right? The kid's got a better shot, a better stroke than
Right. But Bob, don't say did he beat you. Say how much did he beat you by?
So Kevin
he's got a hell of a swing at 10 years old.
Right? Kevin is one of the best reps in the industry. Back when I was a sales guy, I worked with Kevin a lot, and he is a great guy and a personal friend of mine. And I'm friends with Kevin on Facebook, and I've watched his son grow up. His son is an incredible golfer, and they put a lot of time into it, and he sticks with it. And he's the cutest little kid too. So kudos, Kevin.
So Kevin, I'm playing golf on Friday for the second time this year, and I might have to call your son after school tomorrow to get some tips. About keep your head down and, and keep the stroke in and that type of thing. So
he may tell you to stay home, John. That may be the best tip at all.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. Bob, you were going back here. I heard Rubber, Def Spencer, Randy's a great guest.
Let's see what Jerry says. Ambulances are authorized to bypass the DEF D rate. They want the EPA to approve this software change for RVs. I think they're close, Jerry. Did you see the story last week that they apparently have an agreement? They haven't signed it yet, but the software companies and the EPA have apparently come to a temporary agreement that will wait until they get the chips and then have to go back and remodify them again. Ryan's got a good hint. He says you hire a professional to winterize, don't just pour antifreeze down the drain and hope that everything else goes well for you.
You know what? One of the points that I'm sure Randy will get into, and I wrote down, do-it-yourself winterization, what to look for. Because, again, if you forget to drain the hot water tank, you got trouble there. So, Randy, assume that a newbie is also a DIY guy.
Yep.
And they said, oh, I'm not going to pay $120 to get de-winterized. It's only 4 gallons at, $4 a gallon. I'm not paying that. Number one, they're making a mistake. But number two, what should they be absolutely 100% positive that they get right so they don't get a surprise in April?
So I get the DUI. I'm one. I've been a mechanic my entire life because I was good at fixing things and that stuff made sense to me. So that's kind of the way they're wired. So I understand that. I will say, if you're not that guy, definitely have it done by a professional. A professional knows what they're doing. They're going to use the appropriate stuff, and they're going to guarantee their work. So if there's a problem in the spring, they're going to get you taken care of. For the guy that wants to do it themselves, do the research. Go to YouTube. That's a great resource. I have one that's very successful on YouTube. It's a pretty thorough video for a basic plumbing system. We explain it very well. Yeah, there you go, Bob. We explain it very well. Understand your plumbing system so you can know when you've got all the water out of it. If you don't understand how a plumbing system works on the hot and the cold side and what the bypasses do for you behind the water heater, if you can't picture that in your head and understand by moving this valve, it allows water or antifreeze to go one way and we're going to empty it, don't try it. Just don't do it. You need to have some practical or some mechanical ability or be able to see it. I have an uncanny gift to be able to picture what's going on behind the walls with plumbing system and wires and stuff like that. That's why I do what I do. Like my mother, one of the smartest people I know, she was a college professor for 35 years. She couldn't fathom what goes on behind a wall, but she's still one of the smartest people I know. So just the way people are wired differently. If you can understand how a plumbing system works, you're a perfect guy to winterize your own coach. If you don't understand how any of that works, don't try it.
Right? Don't try it.
Hey, did you notice where'd he go? I just thought I saw Rick Kessler on here.
Oh yeah, he was there.
Rick, were you on, Rick, when I posted up this and joked with the people that if they heard a earthquake around 3:30 this afternoon, it wasn't anything in New England, it was coming out of Elkhart, Indiana? when the industry announced that they were canceling open house. So I got you a little bit of a headline there, Mr. Kessler, and glad to have you join us again tonight.
Yep. And also, Bob, if you can highlight Dawn's link, because they have a do-it-yourself RV online video course that one of our associate members, RV Education 101, has available.
Those guys do a really good job. I've been working with Dawn a little bit and plan to work more with her this winter when I've got a little bit more bandwidth. But I've looked at some of their videos. They do a really good job. I am excited to work with those folks.
Nice people.
Yes.
Yep.
Nice people down there in North Carolina. Thank you, Don. And we'll you've got that in the link so people can have that.
What's with Jerry's line about flush your toilet? Flush the toilet.
Make sure. So the toilet, interestingly enough, is the first thing to freeze in a camper. The toilet valve, the water valve behind the toilet, that's typically the first thing to go. I don't know if the plastic is thin back there or what, but usually the first cold snap, not uncommon to see replace a few toilet valves where everything else goes unscathed. So I would definitely don't forget to flush the toilet, because that is a cold water line, and if that splits, it's not going to be fun, because it's usually in the other end of the camper from the door.
Yeah, look at Jerry's line earlier at 7:08. I have a feeling we'll sell a lot of toilet valves next spring.
The people that forget.
Let's see what Lisa says here. If you live in an RV full-time, what is the maintenance schedule? Say you are traveling around, not to staying put in one place for a season. Should you still have a spring and fall service done? Go for it, Randy.
So if you are doing full-time in an RV, it's obviously a little bit more difficult for you to get in for service, especially with the longer waits that we typically have in an RV service department, unlike a vehicle service department or car service department. Plan on visiting the family, or if you can set a vacation where you can be away from your RV, or plan on that time to do the wheel bearings, have the roof done, lube the slide mechanics. If you're living in it, you want to have your furnace service, you want to have your water heater service. These are the things, if you're living in it, you can't be without. So if I preach to my guys, let's be proactive rather than reactive. And that would be my recommendation if I was a full timer. Let's set up 2 times a year where I go live at my kid's house and I work with the RV dealer down the road and I have a place to stay. Or I go to Florida and go to Disney World while I'm getting my RV serviced at Lazy Days down there, or whatever it may be. But make it into your schedule so you can take care of it. And then there's always going to be the emergency where, hey, this failed or that failed. And that's where most full timers that I know, they've gotten good at figuring those things out, or being able to put a Band-Aid on it to get to the next town. But I would, as a person, as a guy that has done some full-time RVing or has lived on the road for a long time, schedule when you want to get it done and have a plan to go. It's really hard for me when I'm talking to customers that may be upset because I can't get them in when they want, or they are living in it and they don't understand that I bought something that may need to go to a repair facility to get repaired. Where do I do now? And they want me to pay for their hotel rooms and things like that. And then, unfortunately, I would love to pay for everybody's hotel rooms, but that's not in the card. That's not part of the deal. You're expected to bring this to a service center and have them do it. So if you could plan and have a place to stay or make a vacation while you're getting your RV service, that's what I would recommend.
I got a question for you and all the techs that are on the line. With the influx of people, we sold another 500,000 RVs this year. We're going to sell 600,000 next year. We know a lot of them didn't get the appropriate PDI, didn't get the instructions. People were already complaining in the summer that they couldn't get an appointment to get their units serviced. What is the current situation? It's a 2-part question. Is it even worse now because we get into winter and all these people are saying, hey, I got to get something done? What if they can't get an appointment? What do they do?
That's a great question. I know I have lots of friends in the industry. I know there's lots of guys on here, which is always awesome as well, that are in the industry. I talk to everybody on a regular basis. I've got a lot of friends out in Elkhart. Call early. Get in the best way you can. Parts are going to be a struggle. Every RV dealer is going to struggle this year to keep the customers happy and moving forward. But know this, they are working diligently and hard. I paid a ton of overtime this year. Getting help is tough. Getting parts is even tougher. So hang in there with us. We are going to do the best we can. I am a guy that will help you help yourself if you will allow me to. I have worked it out with the manufacturers, and I'm sure some of the other RV guys that are on here with me today, service department guys, if I can troubleshoot it over the phone and I know that it's a circuit board, or I know that it's something that you can change very easily, Mr. Customer, without hooking it up and getting it to me, I am going to work with you to get that part, get the old part back and submit it under warranty. Now, I don't charge labor to the manufacturers when I do that. I do that as a service. I push paper to help out our customers. I think there's going to be some more of that going on this year. And if you're not doing it, I think maybe look into it. Be careful if you're a dealer doing that, because it's a great way to lose a lot of money if you're not careful, because I've done that too. But I think we're going to have to start working with some of the consumers to make some, I don't want to say make these repairs, but how I tell it to my customers is like, hey, would you be willing to swap this part out for me? And I can probably, if you listen to how I tell you to do it or watch the video that I'm sending you, you can probably do it quicker than you can hook this thing up to your truck before you even think about bringing it to me. And most people are fully on board with that. Some people are not. Some people are, I paid and I want you guys to fix it. And I'm like, okay, we'll bring it in and we'll go through that. But if you got a guy like me that can change out, an LP detector or whatever it may be, I never throw you in an electrical situation. I'll never throw you in an LP situation. That's stuff for the professionals. But if it's, change a broken piece of plastic with 2 screws or replace a circuit board or, something like that can be done very easily without any danger involved. That's what we're going to do. And that's what we've been doing.
All right. Again, for you and for all the techs on here, is anybody doing drive-through winterizations?
We are.
In the past, others have done that. But I need those schedules so that we can post them. And Lisa, for you, Randy, Lisa wants to know, where are your service locations? I assume she means in New England, and I don't think she has her coach yet. But so did you shake your head that you are doing drive-through winterizations?
We do them every year. Yes, we call them mass winterizations.
All right, you got to get me that information so I can post it, and that goes for everybody else out there too. Ernie Fitz, haven't heard from
Randy.
in a while. Great show and advice. I can't believe it's almost winterizing season already. Yeah, but look at the plus side of that, Ernie. When it gets to be winterizing season, it's the end of the campground season, so you and Jessica get your life back from your ownership of the Shamrock Campground up there in Bitterford. So you get, I'm sure Jessica's not complaining too much that we've got to do winterizing on a few units.
Hey, Randy.
Yes.
While we're talking about water and that type of thing, a question. It's not really a winterization question, but it's a question that came up a couple times this year in our particular unit. And also with other campers that we meet. A lot of people at every opportunity like to refill their tank, their fresh water tank, especially if they're at a playground, at a campground, but they're not going to use it again for 3 or 4 weeks because of business and other situations.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Tell us why.
Because fresh water can go bad. And when it goes bad, it's a stench that you don't want to smell. Yeah. I've been in plenty of coaches. Anytime you're a dealer and you bring in a coach, you're going to get something that sat around for a trade, in someone's backyard for a while. That usually it's the water heaters where I see it go bad, because that typically does not get dumped. And I'll instruct you, if you're not going to use your coach for a month or so, dump the water heater.
Dump the water.
Remember when we were kids? Maybe not you, John, but no, I'm just picking on you. We were kids, and you had a sore throat, and they went and stuck that Q-tip way down your throat and swabbed it around, and then they took it out and put it in a Petri dish. Where did they put that Petri dish? In the warm, dark little machine that looked like a microwave? Where is your fresh water tank on your camper? Up under the bottom, that's warm and dark, right? So you've got a 40 to a 50, 60, 100-gallon Petri dish like what you've got, John, on your coach. It will just breed stuff. So if you're getting water from a source that you are unfamiliar with, it's my recommendation that you filter it, putting it in, and use it. I don't want to say immediately. You're good for a week or so. But if you're going to let the coach sit around in a warm climate with full of water on board, dump that out, let it go. And if it sits around for a long enough time, you probably should sanitize the system when you're done. And I mean the water heater too. And you'll know if you smell when water goes bad. It's an odor that does not go away by putting more water to it or rinsing it or anything like that. You've actually got to put something in the chemical.
I've got a much simpler solution than that. And I'm not even a technical guy. Just fill the tank with Jack Daniels, and you don't have to worry about the water going bad.
Bob, we've just solved it.
Just solved it. Hey, Michelle,
that's about all the time we have for you
now.
Thank you for joining us.
Michelle's got a question. Do we have a problem with propane regulators out there, guys? And I only say guys because we don't have any female mechanics on tonight, so I'm not being PC correct or incorrect, but
so there is a regulator recall for one specific regulator, which is a popular one used in our industry, that can affect your camper negatively. The risk of it, or the chance of it affecting your camper negatively, is less than 1%, from what I understand. That was the last statistic I was told, as I've been following this recall very closely. There is not enough product to fix the volume affected in the recall currently. So go to your dealer. If you get the recall notice, go to your dealer immediately. Make the appointment. Get on the list to get one ordered. If you see
she's saying she cut off her answer there, but then she came back and said Grand Design said Grand Design recall, and then it was eight months. She said 8 months that they were telling her to get a part for it.
Yep. So again, get to your dealer, whoever the closest dealer that you can get to, make the appointment with them, have them order the part. The getting on the list to get the part is what we need to do. Changing the regulator on your own accord with a different regulator, you can do that if you can find one. But that doesn't satisfy the recall. The recall needs to be done by a certified RV technician or a authorized service center. And just watch your flames on things. If you see things that look different than they normally do, then you may have an issue, and you should have it looked at. So
is there any kind of a workaround? Because correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but Michelle is in Arizona. Her trailer's in Arizona. She bought it in Maine. So if she's driving it back across the country, do you disconnect the regulator? Is that the regulator that automatically switches between one tank and the other?
No. So if she's driving it, she's only got one tank, and it's a single stage, or it's a double stage regulator. It's the regulator that hooks the LP and monitors the LP pressure down to 10.5 inches on the water column and brings it into the RV. So, and the issue with the regulators, from what I understand, is again, there's two chemicals that aren't working together in the regulator. I don't want to get too technical on this, but regulators have diaphragms in them, and it could cause the regulator to stay wide open, so creating high gas pressure. Again, from the statistics I've read, that's less than a 1% chance of that happening. Typically, what they're seeing is regulators are not opening up enough, so we're experiencing really low gas pressure. But definitely get on the list, get your regulator changed, and get that taken care of.
Right. She did correct me. She bought it in Arizona and does have 2 tanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Randy, another question that comes up this time of year. Many times in April, we re-enter our RV and find that we've had some 4-legged creatures, some tiny little creatures called mice that used your facility as a winter home. Number one, what is a way to rid that? And secondly, stuff that's non-toxic and that type thing.
So mice are a great revenue generating portion of any RV dealership. So I think we should just leave them alone. No, I'm just kidding. Mice are tough. Mice are definitely tough. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff tried. I think a couple of years ago, we talked about it on here. We had Irish Spring soap and bounce dryer sheets, and just I've seen ammonia. I've seen tons of stuff tried. The thing that I will only speak to things that I have personal experience in. If I'm gonna make a recommendation, and I use a product called mouse spray. We've spoken about it on this show before. It comes out of Canada.
Spray it underneath the chassis.
It gets applied. We atomize it with what looks like kind of a primer gun. If you have ever painted a car before. We atomize it like that at a low pressure, and we apply it to the frame rails. Pretty much the stuff where mice would have to go to get into the coach. So if you put your bounce dryer sheets inside the doorway and on the floor and on your bed and stuff like that, that only smells for a little while. And if the mice are already into your floor and up by your bed, then they've already gone through all the mechanics of your RV, all the wires and everything, because a lot of that runs down below. So if we cannot allow them to come into the coach, that's what I want to do. And this product that we spray, it's not cheap, but it's a lot less expensive than taking care of when mice start chewing wires, and we got to troubleshoot that. And it's a petroleum jelly. It's kind of a liquefied Vaseline, let's say, and it's got a lot of spearmint and peppermint oils in it. So the mice don't like to get it on their feet. Mice have a very high sense of smell. So the oils are very obtrusive for them, and the reason they use the oils is they don't dissipate over a period of time. They usually stay around for a long period of time. There's also some anti-corrosive effects to this, and it's a lubricant as well. So it does lots of good things by spraying it to the underbelly or the undercarriage of your coach. And I have seen it work. I have taken coaches that were infested. I got rid of the infestation. I sprayed it. I put it back exactly where I had it before, where it was infested, and it did not get reinfested. So I have seen it work, and I have not had one come back with issue after I was applicated. It does need to be applicated once a year, though.
Yeah, Audrey Foley said they used the mouse spray that you recommended earlier, and it was amazing. And thank you for that. Now, a couple other quick questions. This past month or so, where these alleged hurricanes have hit New England, and there's even some phantom storms that showed up where there was heavy rain and wind, and there may have been tree branches that fell off a tree onto your RV roof, but blew away, so you never even knew that that tree branch was up there. That could cause not minor, but tiny little holes that allow water in. Is there a way, short of bringing it to the dealership, is there a way that people can scan their roof to see if there's any residual damage?
Yeah. So just to elaborate on that, John, with the rain and the wind and everything that we've having, in the RV world, something that has changed if you've been in our world for a little bit, they're not awnings anymore. They're called sunshades. So if you know a storm's coming, put it away. And the RV manufacturers are actually looking to see if we put a claim against bad hardware. They want to see pictures where it's folded, and then they will find out where you were camping that weekend. And if there's a storm, they're going to deny the claim. So put your awnings away. But yes, absolutely. If your RV goes through a storm, or even if you're not around and there's a storm, get up on that roof and check it out. If you see anything, I had a guy bring in a small camper the other day to the dealership. I'm standing outside just because I'd much rather be outside talking on the phone than inside. And I watch a customer pull up, and he's got a log on his roof. I mean, it's not a stick. It's a log. And I was like, pointing to my service advisor because I'm on the phone. I was like, look at his roof. And the guy's like, oh my God. I was like, check that for him. So we're going to physically check it. But if you are not scared of heights and you can safely get up on your camper because you've got a ladder or you've got the appropriate ladder to put next to it, don't be standing on the top of a 6-foot ladder and trying to jump on your RV roof. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. It's easier to get up on a slide roof almost and then get on the RV roof from that if you can do that. Look for damage. Look for indiscrepancies in the rubber roof. Once you get up on a rubber roof, the rubber roofs are pretty even plane. It's fairly easy to see something unless it's a pinhole. So walk it, get familiar with your roof, and do check it for damage.
But we should also say that I know that I am right on the weight limit for that RV ladder. And if anything, those ladders they don't seem to be the sturdiest things ever built. So we should also caution people about that. And also not to wear golf shoes when they're on the roof.
100%. So these ladders are typically rated for 250 pounds. It's a sheer weight, so don't be hanging out, leaning back on it. Climb up, keep your weight close to the ladder. Right. So if it doesn't look safe, don't go up it. And if you're a stout person, maybe it's not the place that you need to be.
Right.
Use your head. Common sense goes a long way, and I find common sense is not so common anymore. So be safe. Be safe is the biggest thing. And if you can't get up there, get a guy like us to go up there. We'd be happy to go up and inspect something. And, I can't imagine one of my service advisors, if you were really worried about your roof, if you just wanted to pull in and have somebody check it out very quickly, if you explain the situation, they would probably break some of my rules and get you in to take a look at that. And I think any dealer on this show tonight would probably do the same thing for you if you were their customer. Yeah.
And I think it's important to point out that I think of this when because you bring up so many good points in your answer, and I'm listening to every word, and I say, that's something there. But
Randy, did you answer this one, Randy?
Where are your service locations? My service locations in New England are flagship stores in Vermont. We have a service facility, a full dealership at South Windsor, Connecticut, right outside of Hartford, Connecticut. That is solely Jayco for warranty, but they will do service on anything. I got Plainville, Massachusetts, where I currently am located.
Which is right near Foxborough.
We are right next to Foxborough. I'm about 4 miles from Gillette Stadium currently, which I think the first game is on Monday or Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
I think, yeah.
I know, I gotta get out of here because my room gets really expensive that night.
Yeah, down the street from Plain Ridge Casino, right?
I am pretty much right, like within half a mile of that, just on the other side of the intersection. Yep.
Yeah, you could. That's right. They could leave the units for service and go over to the casino and have dinner and gamble and come back, right?
I'll shuttle you.
Yeah, but
well, me and you will work on that, Bob.
But hold that amount of money. What the service is going to cost. Don't gamble that away.
Let's see what Frank says here. Frank says, hello from Lynn. Only took 5 months to restore my RV water pressure back to normal. Did it myself, so I did not have to ruin my camper season by tying up the Airstream camper. Can handle winterizing myself also, but your heads up on the line failure freeze was important. Okay, good. Glad you get that.
Good. Many times, Randy, it's not the gigantic tips that make a difference, but the little what may be considered insignificant that can lead to bigger issues, such as those tiny little holes. By themselves, they're not a big issue, but if they've been taking water in for 3 months, it's an issue. And I don't know if we've gone over this already, but there's so many, because of the weather in New England, if people don't have an indoor storage area, you get people that say, I'm not going to spend $300 for an RV cover when a blue tarp from Home Depot or Lowe's is just as good. Can you address that issue?
Yeah, the tarp versus the blue versus a regular cover.
If you come and talk to me about blue tops or tarps, you will be leaving with a RV cover. You won't use a blue tarp because I'll educate you.
But Randy, they cost so much money. Those tarps are only $10 each. That cover is $300. I only spent $60,000 on this unit. Why should I spend? So
all the more reason you should use the appropriate measures to take care of it, right? I first, if people ask me, do I need a cover? And this is the adage I use. First of all, Airstreams, I do not recommend covers on Airstreams. We just had an Airstream customer on here because it will mar the finish. There is a special protective clear coat coating on an Airstream, much like a car, that a cover would probably damage. So Airstreams are the exception on this rule. Everything else, I do recommend a cover. Put a car in the garage for the winter and put one next to the garage for the winter. Which one's going to look better in the spring? The one in the garage, obviously. Because we've taken it out of the elements. And that's what a cover does. And the important part about a cover is, first of all, RV covers have breathable sidewalls and vinyl tops. So they don't let water set on the top and get direct contact, which is exactly what they want. But we still want air to move through our coach to not trap anything inside, creating mildew and other moisture issues. Bob, you had this problem on your coach one time. I think I remember you telling me the story. Where that's what a blue tarp is going to do. So the breathable sidewalls is super important. If an RV cover is properly installed, the zipper will be near the door. You can still get in and out of it, but it will protect the roof. What happens in the winter months is during the summer, we're in and out of our RVs. We're probably realistically going in and out of our RV at least once a week. We're checking it for something. We left something in it. It's in the backyard. We're going to go read a book, take a nap, using it, going camping, whatever we may be doing. We're in and out of the RV. So if something's happening, i.e. a water leak, we are going to recognize it because we're actively using the coach. For the winter, we park it in the backyard or in a storage facility or whatever, and it's out of sight, out of mind. That's when the bad stuff happens because we're not actively in and out of it. So if we can put it in a time capsule per se, i.e. the cover, then we're protecting it until we can utilize it. And if there is something that arose from the hot and cold, when hot and cold in the Northeast is probably the worst thing for our campers because of expansion and contraction. If you've got water sitting in a crack and that water freezes, it gets bigger and opens up the crack. When it warms up, when the sun comes out, the water goes in deeper, allows more water to come in, compound, getting worse, right? If we can put it in that time capsule, that RV cover, we're going to be better off.
What about, I know Jerry Plant's got a Seal Tech machine down there in Majors, and we recommend them highly. And I know Chris Doherty does do. I don't see Chris on here tonight, but do you guys do Seal Tech testing? And given the amount of water that we've had this year, wouldn't you recommend to people to get a water leak test before they put anything away this year?
So I am the super, and I do own Seal Tech machines. We were building them before they were actually, you could buy one. What a Seal Tech machine is for the public is it pressurizes your unit. We put it over the top of a roof vent and we turn it on, and it blows air into your unit and pressurizes your unit, and then we'll spray soap around the outside. And the methodology is when you spray soap on it, if you see bubbles, you got to leak. Bubbles. Yep. So Seal Tech machines work great on non-slide units, but the wiper seals on the slide make it a little bit tough to identify all the leaks. I am more of a proactive guy, so I will tell you, I want you to check this thing spring and fall. I want you to look, and I'm going to teach you. Come to one of my seminars, Bob. You've sat through enough of them. I'm going to teach you what to look for. I'm going to tell you to get up on that roof. I'm going to tell you to look for sealant gaps. I'm going to be the guy that tells you to spend, an hour or so in the spring, an hour or so in the fall, and keep an eye out looking for these things. While you're using the camper, look for it. So hopefully you won't need to bring it to an RV dealer and put that Seal Tech machine on it. If you don't have the wherewithal to do that, or you're not sure, or you're not that person, you're not wired that way, as I talked about in the beginning of the show, then definitely bring it to Pete's, bring it to Majors, bring it to one of us, and we'd be happy to put a Seal Tech machine on it, or do those visual inspections for you and identify any areas that we may need to. What I typically do is I'll look at a coach when I'm checking somebody in back when I was a service advisor, and even today, if I see something on a coach, I'll be like, hey, look, I'm seeing some signs where we should look at this closer. Why don't you give me an hour to go around your coach and just touch anything that I feel that needs to be touched, and touch it up and look for indiscrepancies and take care of it that way. I think I can get you taken care of in an hour. Would that be acceptable to you, Mr. Customer? And then it's yay or nay, or I want to do it, So that's typically what we do.
Yeah. Hey, Randy, there's two comments that were made by our guests that remind me to bring up another question. One, Michelle Fontaine said about the sun in Arizona. Now, but let me go. And Mark Polk really kind of summarized the whole show. Preventive maintenance, identify and fix small problems before it turns into a big costly problem. Go back to the first one. There may be New Englanders that are taking their unit from New England to Florida, Texas, or Arizona during the winter. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any special precautions that New Englanders who are going to Florida, just use Florida, for example, should be looking at? Because many times the sun is a worse enemy to your RV seals than the winter.
So not just your seals, can be your tires, can be the roof, can be the sidewalls, decals, all sorts of things can be affected by the sun. And as hot as it gets up here, for my Scottish little guy, Northern Vermont body, down there, it's a lot worse, right? So if you can get a good coat of wax on your RV to protect the sidewalls, if you can do a UV protectant on your roof, if your roof warrants a UV protectant, depending on the rubber that you've got up there, definitely cover your tires, condition your seals. So I think that you should be proactive no matter where you are. But if you know you're using it in different climates, then you should definitely look to see what is the best way to take care of your coach, knowing that you're going to be using it in two different extremes. Probably taking it out of the winter months and putting it in the sun is probably a better thing for it than letting it, stay up here for the winter. But look to see what is the best maintenance, depending on what kind of RV you use and what's recommended for that coach. And we're glad to help you out with that.
Can you answer that for Marlene, Randy?
Could you please share the name of the spray gun? So the spray gun that I use with the mouse free, you can either purchase the mouse free alone, or they have a modified gun to spray it that comes with it.
The name of the spray, mouse free, right?
Yep.
Mouse free.
Yep.
Okay. And then Audrey said, could you post Randy's Seal Tech video here?
I'll dig it out and post it, Audrey.
Yeah. I don't believe I have a Seal Tech video.
If we can't find it, Randy, what are they listed under?
So I don't believe I have a Seal Tech video. I have lots of sealing videos that tell you how to seal your RV. And if Bob can't find it, interesting enough, you can go to Google and just put Seal RV, and we come up first most of the time. Or go to PRV TV, which is Pete's RV's YouTube channel. And if you look through the videos or playlists, you'll find my service videos in there. And then I can share with you all sorts of different ways to protect your RV. I think I have 60 or 70 videos.
Yep, hundreds of those. Yep. Let me see what else we had here. Where'd I go? Okay, get Marlene out there. I want to try something, Randy.
Yeah.
You've been kind enough to give us your time tonight, and Randy didn't send me this. I do a lot of research on my dealers' sites, and I find all these good little things, and something is happening tomorrow. And
send you this. You called me last night and said, "Hey, dude, can you do the show tomorrow?"
that was the show, right? That wait a minute, that's not the one. That's not what I want.
Hey guys, Randy with Pete's RV TV here again with you today. Another quick tick segment for you. Have you ever gone out on a camping weekend and you've dumped your tanks after the weekend and you come back into your camper and you get a false reading on your black or your gray tank, kind of like that? It looks full and you know it's not. You just dumped it. Well, I'm going to take you into the bathroom here in just a few minutes, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks to alleviate that problem for you.
Playing one of my videos on YouTube.
I was trying to play your sale. You got a sale starting tomorrow, and I had pulled it up, but I screwed it up. I'm sorry, but there is a sale, a fall clearance sale starting at Pete's RV, starting tomorrow.
Which location?
Huh?
Which location?
John, ask him a few questions. I got to run out there and try to find it again.
Well, I'm trying to look for my Jerry. Jerry thought that I know I did a video, and I'm trying to figure out where it is. What we'll do, folks, is this: we'll find that video that I did down at Majors. It's really an amazing process.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah, I Googled it. I couldn't find it. But basically, it's kind of like the old thing where if you like a water balloon kind of thing. If you put it in a bucket of water and the air comes out, you can see where the bubbles are. That's not a good analogy.
We pressurize the inside of the RV using a big fan through the roof vent, and so it's a positive air machine. So anywhere that there's a leak, we'll push air out, and by soaping the outside, you'll create bubbles.
Yep, exactly. And you know what? Most of those leaks that the SealTech machine finds, they're really not visible to the naked eye.
They're not where you think they would be. Yep.
And the other thing that people need to realize that when they find a leak, many times the leak itself is not directly above the spot that's being impacted. Because sometimes, water seeks its lowest level, and the leak could be over here, but it's not showing up until way over here.
I've seen it travel 20, 30 feet.
Yep.
Right, let me try this again. I think I fixed my problem. Hang on. Share my screen. And won't share my screen. What the hell am I doing today?
I don't know. We only got 2 minutes left, though.
Yeah.
Does mouse-free also work against other rodents, such as chipmunk, squirrel, deer, bear?
I don't want to say yes to that because I am not 100% sure. But if it's a animal that would be affected, the petroleum jelly, the rodents, the mice don't like it get it on their feet, and it's very slippery. And the sense of smell that they have with the spearmints and peppermint oils, that's really a detractor. So if you've got a rodent or a pest that has heightened smell, the rodent that would probably take care of it. But again, I am not 100% sure, so I don't want to tell you to go buy it to keep the bears away.
And BB guns and 22s get rid of chipmunks and squirrels.
You're from where I'm from.
This week at Pete's RVing savings, as all 2021 travel trailers and fifth wheels are priced to move. Get a new 2021 Jayco J as low as $189 a month. Choose from a wide selection of 2022 family bunkhouse campers and full-time fifth wheels. Save big. Camping this fall RV clearance sale Thursday through Sunday only at Pete's RV South Burlington. Sale opens at 9 a.m. each day. Pete's RV will take you there.
All right.
Cool. So that will be at our Vermont location this weekend then.
Vermont only.
Is that Vermont?
Correct.
All right. So once again, the 60 minutes disappear faster than they do on the real 60 minutes,
right?
which drags on and on. These things go.
Hey, look who joined us, Bob. Karen McDonald.
Hello, Karen.
Hey, Karen. How we doing?
Nice job, Randy. Kevin says, great show, guys. I'm happy to be back, Bob. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay, I'll be around. And Don Haas joined late. You're supposed to apologize, Don, but that would do it. And
I like Michelle. Michelle.
What'd Michelle say?
That I'm awesome.
Randy. Wait, we'll have to start. Hey, Michelle, you can be the president of the Randy Murray fan club. How's that? We could do that. Randy,
it'll just be me and you, Michelle, because
Randy, you don't mind them having your email address, do you?
No.
No, you already posted that.
I know. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, Randy, thank you very much. Again, you're always there for us. And
guys, I want to say thank you to you, and all the members of the audience should know this. This is 5 years for you guys doing this show, right? So You've been taking care of the consumers in New England, taking care of the dealers in New England. My technicians, Bob and I do a lot of stuff off the side that you guys don't even know about. So for John and Bob, thank you guys for doing what you do for 5 years and keeping us in the know and, educating the public, because I think you guys do a great job. And if you weren't doing it, no one else would. So kudos to you guys for 5 years on that. Awesome.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy, thanks very much. All right, we're going to play the closing video, and we'll catch up to you guys next week. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
See you soon.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.